Okay, this is going to be a video demonstration of how a Bendix DD3 brake chamber operates. On the table here in front of me I've got a brake chamber that I've recently rebuilt, and I have got air lines attached to the 3 ports, and then I've got two-way valves connected to those air lines. The first demonstration is going to be what happens when air is supplied to the service diaphragm. As I actuate this valve, air was going to enter this port, and it's going to extend the push rod, and then as I close the valve, or swap to the other port rather, air will then be directed through this line to the lock port, releasing the rollers, which will allow the push rod to go back into the chamber. This is how it works. You can see there, air is now supplied to this port, and the push rod is extended. As I swap it the other way, you see now the push rod is released. Now what's going on is air is being applied to this lock port, which then is applied to an O-ring, which puts pressure against a piston, which relieves rollers enough so that the spring pressure inside can pull the push rod back down. So again, that was a service brake application. This is what happens whenever you put your park brakes on. Again, I've got a valve here that when I turn it to apply air to this port, it will put pressure against the auxiliary diaphragm, which will do the exact same thing as the service brake. It pushes the push rod out and keeps it held in that position as long as you've got air pressure. So this is what happens. And you can hear my compressor kicking on in the background. So right now, this is what happens to the chamber when you're on your coach and you apply a park brake. The rod extends, putting pressure against the slack adjuster, which pushes the shoes out to the inside of the drum, locking it essentially in place. If you remove the park brake, you apply air pressure through to this port, the lock port again, which causes the push rod to release. Like so. Okay, so what happens if you lose air pressure? I'm going to apply air pressure again to the auxiliary diaphragm to extend the rod. Now I'm going to disconnect the air pressure. All right, there is now no air pressure being applied to the auxiliary diaphragm, this port. There's no air being applied anywhere, and as you can see, the push rod is fully extended. It did not release because the rollers are holding it in place. If I apply air pressure again, if I can do this with one hand. It looks like I can't. Okay. So now I've got air pressure connected again. So when I apply air to the lock port, of course the push rod now descends and goes back into the normal state. I hope maybe this works for some people, and I'll see you later.